in all health centers and selected immunization posts.
Ensure your children and those around you aged 9 months to 59 months do not miss out. Vaccinate to protect. This message has been brought to you courtesy of the Ministry of Health in conjunction with UNICEF.
After he was chosen by President Uhuru Kenyatta to occupy the office of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. What has been achieved in Nairobi? How are they cooperating with the city county of Nairobi? These are the questions we ask tonight as we take stock of what Director General Mohamed Abdallah Badi has achieved in his 1 year as the Director General of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services.
That very important conversation, plus a lot that our news team has been working on for you since morning, contained in our comprehensive news bulletin lined up ahead. We got a lot from matters, interviews to general news to business that is going to be coming up shortly.
Yes, and in business, have you filed your taxes? Well, if you have not, you have only 3 more hours to go. I'll be telling you about how many Kenyans have actually filed their taxes that later in the business segment. My name is Caroline Jenga.
And of course, from our taxes, we head over to Richard Monga, who will be bringing us sports.
Yeah, well, in the world of sports, finally, it is D-Day. Football Kenya Federation has finally chosen the team that is set to represent Kenya in the CAF Champions League. I'm Richard Munga, and I'll be telling you about that as well as other sports updates later on, so see you then.
Before that, we welcome you to interact with us on social media at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag is Prime Edition. If you have any question for Major General Badi, please do that. We will be sampling some of them as the broadcast continues. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. As usual, let's begin with the highlights.
Distancing President Uhuru Kenyatta from the BBI bill. Lawyers submit to the Court of Appeal that the head of state is a supporter, not a promoter.
Kenya is a mature country. We have come a long way. We are not going to do those things that people do in other places on earth, like turn off the internet or switch off Twitter.
A multi-agency team formed to map out violence hotspots ahead of the 2022 general elections.
The crises, environmental crises, require unity of purpose amongst and between state. And this is what we call multilateralism.
No effort will be spared in making Kenya attain 10% forest cover by the year 2022. Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko wants the government to repossess grabbed riparian lands. Once again, welcome. As we kickstart this broadcast, our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi.
Let's begin tonight's coverage with news that lawyers representing Raila Odinga in the Building Bridges initiative have sought to clear President Uhuru Kenyatta from claims that he personally promoted the constitutional amendment process.
Senior Counsel Otiende Amolo, in his submissions before the Appellate Court, said former lawmaker Dennis Waweru and Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed are in fact the promoters of the initiative, and that President Uhuru Kenyatta is merely a supporter of the process.
Serfine begins our coverage tonight with that story.
On the second day of the hearing of the consolidated BBI appeals, lawyer Otiende Amolo on Wednesday moved to poke holes into the ruling by the High Court, which indicted the conduct of the president in the push for constitutional review.
That the promoters of this initiative was Honorable Dennis Waweru and Honorable Junet Mohammed. The court insists on finding that His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was the promoter of this initiative.
Otiende further argued that there is no law barring the president from supporting any initiative.
Any person in this country, including the president, including this court, can support the initiative, in the words of Article 257.
Lawyers Gatonye, Mohamed Nyaog and Kimani Kiragu, in the defense of the head of state, argue that the High Court had when it ruled that the president can be sued while in office.
Our rules are very clear, my lords. No one should be condemned without being heard. And indeed, their lordships did make a finding that, look, the president should have come here, should have responded through his own advocate.
That hold that the president is immune from criminal or civil proceedings while in office.
The IEBC, led by the representation of former Attorney General Githu Muigai, defended itself against claims of verification of signatures and that it lacks requisite quorum to oversee a referendum.
Only the Supreme Court of Kenya can issue an advisory opinion. The High Court decided to give advisory opinions on hypothetical issues, coached in the language that it did.
The administrative processes have been mischaracterized. They've been mischaracterized and elevated to a position where they would fall to be under the Statutory Instruments Act, which they are not.
Well, Attorney General Emeritus Githu Muigai warning against some of the grounds that part of the Constitution cannot be changed, saying that this could result to an insurrection.
It is a very dangerous proposition, and it only invites insurrection.
The hearing continues on Thursday, where respondents in the hearing will continue giving their submissions. For Prime Edition, I'm Serfine Robbie.
The government has formed a multi-agency team to identify violence hotspot areas before the next general elections.
Speaking on Wednesday at the Bomas of Kenya during the launch of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission Strategic Plan of 2020 to 2025, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says the move will help avert cases of violence during electioneering period.
This even as he read a riot act to individuals propagating hate speech and inciting Kenyans to violence that they will face the full force of the law. Have a look.
Integration Commission NCAC on Wednesday launched a strategic plan 2020-2025 with the theme Election Bill and Ouma. It is here that Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i warned politicians inciting Kenyans to violence that they will face the force of the law.
Kenya is a mature country. We have come a long way. We are not going to do those things that people do in other places on earth, like turn off the internet or switch off Twitter.
NCAC Chairperson Dr. Samuel Kobia has lauded the Ministry for the support in taming hate mongers.
If it is possible to set up special courts to deal with the cases that are, as I say, hate mongers.
Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, who was also present in the meantime, assured Kenyans that the judiciary will strive to efficiently and effectively deliver justice and ensuring timely resolutions of electoral disputes.
The entire judiciary will also play its constitutional role and do so expeditiously.
Even as the 2022 political trumpets continues to take shape, it is evident that it will not be a walk in the park anymore for a section of politicians inciting Kenyans to violence, with the National Cohesion and Integration Commission in conjunction with the Ministry of Interior and National Government reading a riot act to such politicians. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition from the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kipnusu, for that report. On to matters environment now. The government has reaffirmed its commitment to the reclamation of all riparian lands in the country. Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko says no effort will be spared in ensuring that Kenya attains the desired 10% forest cover by the year 2022. Tobiko says that Kenya is continuously updating her environmental policies to align them with those of her international counterparts for a harmonized offensive against climate change. Nancy Okware with details of this report.
The visit to Kenya by the President of the United Nations General Assembly Volkan Bozkir has been held as an endorsement of Kenya's contribution to global campaign for peace and environmental conservation.
If you destroy environment in one part of the globe, all other parts get affected. And the crises, environmental crises, require unity of purpose amongst and between states. And this is what we call multilateralism.
I think no other city in the world has so many green forests, parks. I think half the city is parks. And congratulate for that. And you're making the other cities jealous. And you don't have the right to do so. You can't make the world jealous by being so successful. But I like this.
The Kenya Forest Services Chief Conservator Julius Kamau says the Kenya Forest Services is engaging the community in the creation of safe havens during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Considering the importance of forest resources to the lives and livelihoods of people, and also with regards to biodiversity conservation, environmental integrity, water sources, and praying a safe haven, especially during the time of pandemic, where actually many Kenyans have trooped in numbers in these green spaces to come and enjoy and recreate and be able to reconnect with nature.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
And now Kenya's coronavirus positivity rate stands at stands at 8.8% after 558 people tested positive for the disease in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 6,357. During the same period, 269 patients recovered from the disease, or 13 deaths were reported, taking the country's death toll to 3,634, as Jackie Wambiro reports.
The country's total coronavirus caseload rose to 184,161 following the confirmation of 558 new cases Wednesday. The new cases are representative of 8.8% positivity rate. In the latest confirmed cases, Nairobi County leads with 137 cases, followed by Mombasa, which recorded 57 cases. According to a statement from the Ministry of Health, the country recorded 13 more deaths, taking the country's death toll to 3,634. 269 patients have recovered from the disease, both from hospital and home care. Another 1,114 patients are still admitted in various hospitals, with 113 in the intensive care unit. A total of 6,644 patients are being monitored at home under the home care isolation program. Reporting for Prime Time Edition, my name is Jackie Wambiro.
Break straight ama.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money, the one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Malaria ni ugonjwa hatari sana unaoua watu wengi hapa Kenya. Japo kuko na corona, hatari ya malaria bado iko. Mtoto huyu alikuwa na joto jingi, kutetemeka, kuumwa na viungo na uchovu. Alikimbizwa hospitali ya Ouma ambako sheria za COVID-19 huzingatiwa na ni salama kwa shughuli ya upimaji. Vipimo vilionyesha kuwa ana malaria na papo hapo daktari akampa dawa za malaria na kumshauri azimalize, na ili kujikinga wawe wakilala ndani ya neti iliyotibiwa. Malaria husambazwa na mbu. Walio hatarini ni watoto wa chini ya miaka 5 na akina mama wajawazito. Kupimwa na kutibiwa ni bure katika hospitali zote za umma. Usisahau adui malaria. Zero malaria huanza na mimi. Chukua jukumu leo. Komesha malaria. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Afya.
When we are saying the last mile is because we have one area that we have not yet attained what we are looking for, and that's elimination of mother to child transmission. In their countries that have eliminated mothers passing on HIV to their children, in Kenya we haven't. That is actually the foundation or the bedrock of the First Lady's initiative. And so the First Lady cannot do it alone. Ministry of Health cannot do it alone. And so what we are doing as NAC is working with the counties so that we can all, so that if a mother, before she even gets pregnant, can she know her status? Because if you know your status, that's the first way of making sure that you prevent passing on the virus to the children.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Watu wangu wa mjei, strong. Unajua kuregister na NCA, National Construction Authority, inamaanisha nini?
Inamaanisha umetambulika kama fundi wa mijengo hodari kulingana na ujuzi wako.
Inamaanisha umesimamiwa kiafya, kikazi, kimalipo na kisheria kote Kenya.
Inamaanisha pia umeaminika. Wewe sio fundi bandia na kwa hivyo utaitiwa kazi mingi.
Be sure, Jenga Smart, to ensure the safe construction of all residential, commercial structures, roads and other works. The National Construction Authority is directing all contractors to be registered with and workers accredited by the authority to ensure compliance with the construction regulations of Kenya. Reach our customer care team on 0709 126 173, 0709 126 102 and 0709 126 172. National Construction Authority. Building a strong Kenya.
This is where it all began. As the mother of broadcasting in Kenya, you can trust KBC to bring you authentic news and programs to your living room. As KBC, we take pride in our unrivaled heritage as Kenya's trusted national broadcaster. Commanding over 92% digital television signal coverage of our country, 23 radio services that cut across our entire language spectrum, a national, regional and international digital presence backed by the most experienced and top-notch broadcast professionals in the industry.
A very good evening to you.
The new look Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is truly ahead of the pack. Turn to the mother of broadcasting in Kenya for stories that resonate with our identity, our aspirations as a people united in purpose. Real stories of hard work, of passion, of creativity, of big dreams.
Stories that cement our nationhood. Stories that bring us together as one. We take pride in our shared heritage and destiny. KBC. Informing, educating, and entertaining Kenyans as one nation. KBC. Kenya's listening. Kenya's watching.
Welcome back. You're watching the Prime Edition. In a bit, we'll be talking to the man in charge of the affairs of Nairobi City. We're talking about the Director General of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. You can see him on set, General Mohammed Abdallah Badi, from the Kenya Air Force to being the man in charge. We'll be talking to him, answering our questions as well as yours. So you can continue speaking to us at KBC Channel 1 at Kioria and at Serfine
_Achieng.
All right.
But before that, Kenyan lawyers have been challenged to ensure selfless delivery of justice without exploiting the rising demand of legal representation.
Chief Administrative Secretary in the State Law Office, Professor Japheth Ntiba, says legal practice should not be considered solely as a source of income, but a duty to the community.
Ntiba is challenging upcoming lawyers to use their skills in defending the truth and service to humanity.
Professor Ntiba was speaking during the graduation ceremony of 44 law graduates at the Kenya School of Law. Wants the president to furnish parliament with reasons as to why he failed to gazette the names of 6 judges as recommended by the Judicial Service Commission.
Kaluma, in seeking the statement, said the failure to appoint the judges may have long-term negative effects on the dispensation of justice to Kenyans.
The leader of the majority party in the National Assembly, Amos Kimunya, said that he would present in parliament the sought reasons in 2 weeks.
While risking judicial independence and the rule of law, this omission is hurting the career of the affected persons while undermining the administration of justice by the courts in which some of them serve. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the leader of majority on the following. 1. Reasons for the failure by His Excellency the President to appoint the 6 persons recommended by the Judicial Service Commission for appointment as judges to the Court of Appeal and the other superior courts. And 2, action being taken by the government to ensure that the appointment of the said 6 persons to serve as judges in the Court of Appeal and the other superior courts in accordance with the Constitution.
I will make the necessary consultations and bring the statement within the next 2 weeks.
At KBC Channel 1, our social media handle is open. Use the hashtag Prime Edition to engage us on this conversation we are just about to have. The journey to transform Kenya's capital, Nairobi, now known as the Nairobi Metropolitan Service. The man in charge, Major Mohammed Abdallah Badi, is in studio. John Jacob Kioria is going to be engaging him on the progress he has made in transforming the city and what is still left in his entry. John Jacob Kioria, it's over to you now.
Thank you very much, Serfine. It's time for us to get to talk with the General, Mohammed Abdallah Badi, straight from the Kenya Air Force and now in charge of the affairs of Nairobi City County. First of all, General, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Probably say hi to Nairobi residents and all Kenyans, and then we begin.
Good evening, KBC viewers. I'm delighted to be here at KBC to answer the questions many Nairobi residents would like to know the answers. So thank you for inviting me.
All right. 1 year on after you were given this mandate as the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, how would you compare where Nairobi County was and where it is now after you took over?
I think I would not like to blow my own trumpet.
Okay.
I would rather the Nairobians talk about it. But as far as NMS is concerned, NMS was constituted actually to act on behalf of national government on the 4 transferred functions. That is mainly the county health services, the county transport and public works, the county housing planning and urban development, and lastly the housing, the county's environmental, water, sanitation, and auxiliary services. So those were the 4 transferred functions, and in every function that was transferred to us, we have moved a lot. If it is the transport and public works, we have gone a great mile in ensuring that the roads are repaired up to standard, of course with proper drainages, and you know, when you say you are repairing the road comes with its own infrastructure itself. That includes the signage, of course, the seating, whether there are benches on the road, the trees planted on the side of the roads. So all these come as road furniture. Actually, we call them road furniture. So ours is to ensure, and we are striving very hard to ensure that every road that is built has got its own furniture.
And sorry to cut you short, because we'll talk about roads in a bit, but when you were taking over this mandate, there was a governor, and then he was impeached as you were continuing with your work, and now you have a deputy governor. There's a case in court, obviously, that was ruled the other day, and probably she will talk over the reins of power as the substantive governor of Nairobi City County, but would want to know, how have you been working in coordination with the Nairobi City County, and particularly the deputy governor?
Well, our relationship has been smooth. As I said, we are non-political side working for national government. So ours is just to ensure that work is done. Even with the former governor who was impeached, I always used to repeat and say, we are not in for political mileage. We are in to ensure service delivery. So long as they don't obstruct our functions, then we work on very well. Yeah.
Talk about the costs of running the county of Nairobi, or the services that were given to you, the 4 functions that were given to you, because we had numbers that were really, baffling, where you would repair vehicles with millions of shillings, and when you came in, the costs that you put in to repair some of those, vehicles that were damaged or declared, unworthy.
The biggest disadvantage sometimes comes in the procurement and tendering system. People tend to inflate the prices of materials, the prices of repairs. So when we took over, we brought in the proper system and we have streamlined. Of course, I've had, because of my background in the military, which I'm still serving, had to use the expertise of military to ensure that all the procurement processes and the public works services are in line with the procurement law. So once you stick to the procurement law, then the costs come down. Yeah.
24 health facilities, let's get to the health function. 24 health facilities were to be constructed in informal settlements. Of course, we've seen what you have done in Mukuru kwa Jenga.
Yes.
Probably you can update us on the progress of these other hospitals and where you're constructing them as the Nairobi Metropolitan Services.
We have distributed these. As I said earlier in my interviews, the problem came is when NMS was established, it was when COVID had just started. So our biggest fear is the informal and disadvantaged areas in Nairobi. How are they going to get water? That was the first problem. There was no water in any of the slums. So the first thing, you can't tell people to wash their hands, and wear masks, sanitize, when they cannot afford masks, they cannot afford sanitizers, and they don't have even cooking water, leave alone washing hands. So our first mandate was to ensure that there is no Nairobi citizen that suffers because of lack of water. That's why we embarked during our first 100 days to build 100 boreholes. But when the demand became too much, we ensured that During our first year, we completed 193 boreholes distributed around Nairobi County. On top of that, once we addressed the water problem, then we saw that each of our informal settlement, which there are almost 13, you know, people just talk about Mathare and Kibera, but we have 13 informal settlements. Each of the 13 lacked the basic health facilities. Even a normal dispensary was not in existence. The ones which existed were either private or operated by religious bodies like churches and NGOs. So when we were repairing Mukuru, we found out there is a clinic that is operated by, actually it is the Dutch Catholic Church, through an NGO that operated. Mukuru was housing around 400,000 people with a dispensary with only 8 beds maternity. So you can imagine the demand that was there. You could only be allowed, as the president has mentioned in his speech, that a woman would be allowed only 1 hour after delivery to get out of the hospital because of bed demand. That is when His Excellency ordered that we embark on building the 24 hospitals. So we were given the mandate to do that. 19 were to be built from scratch, and 5 of them were the building that had been started by the different governors, but somehow abandoned halfway. So we have taken upon us to complete the 5, and of course appointed a contractor to do the 19 afresh.
All right.
But we managed to save some money from the amount of money that we are given to do the 24 hospitals. We are now going to complete 27 hospitals.
27 hospitals?
Yes.
Across the 13 informal settlements?
Yes.
Okay.
And 6 have already been commissioned by His Excellency. They are running, and we have 12 ready to be opened. So within the next month, the 18 will be fully functional after commissioning, the 12, and the remaining ones before end of July.
Before the end of July, we shall have all the hospitals. You know, during this time of, you know, the last county governments we've seen, it became normal since outside City Hall almost twice a year to see health workers in Nairobi City County, not just Nairobi, even in other counties, striking because of a human resource aspect and other issues they had. How have you been able to manage the human resource aspect in the city county of Nairobi to prevent or to avert strikes?
Yeah, one of it is the medical personnel that are manning the current hospitals. It's true we have a shortage, and the demand due to COVID has forced them to work some of the hospitals 24 hours. So it has taken a strain on them. But we have talked with the union and the doctors themselves. Since we came in, we have recruited over 2,500 medical personnel. That is all the doctors, nurses, and all those health-related services. We have hired them. We have the volunteers that we are being helped by other NGOs to pay them, especially during this COVID period, for awareness, and of course in some areas attending. The volunteers also used to track those people who have COVID and disappear into villages. We try to track them so that we can get them to do the recovery process. So that has, with the influx of the new medical personnel, it has reduced the pressure. The other issues, of course, was the insurance cover, and we have engaged them, and in this financial year we'll be able to put all our doctors and nurses under NHIF. Their biggest issue is they didn't want to go to private insurance companies But now we have streamlined the system, and all of them are going to be put under NHIF.
Will it be the special cover for NHIF or the...
It will be the special cover for medical personnel.
All right.
Yeah, and on top of that, we have also sponsored around 66,000 households, especially the extremely poor members of the society, sponsoring them to be covered under universal health care of the presidency Big Four agenda, so that we pay for them to be covered under NHIF. We believe this will reduce a lot of health bills that are going to the common wananchi, which they cannot afford.
All right. Let's talk about water provision. You've talked about the boreholes that you've drilled, and there are also water bowsers that we saw being commissioned by President Uhuru Kenyatta. When you look back, 1 year later, has NMS been able to address the perennial water shortage in the city county of Nairobi?
As I've said before, the water shortage in Nairobi goes a long way back, even before devolution. So the problem in Nairobi is some of this, the water infrastructure, the piping and so forth, most of them are over 30 to 40 years old. So every 10 years you need to either upgrade or remove those existing water pipes and replace them. Of course, there are new technologies. You can't stick to the old steel water pipes that are coming, delivering water through Nairobi. So we are trying to change the infrastructure, but it costs a lot. The other problem is removing the water from the existing dams in Murang'a, coming all the way through Kiambu and Nairobi. The acquisition of land where these pipes will pass. People, once they know that the pipe is going to pass through his farm, then that piece of land is so exaggerated that to buy it off for the pipe to pass now becomes so exorbitant that the government faces challenges. So we are going through the National Land Commission, who of course forceful acquire of that land with the government rates, so that we are able to build infrastructure. Nairobi, right now, as we are talking, you know, houses almost over 4 million personnel, with 2 million at night and almost 4 to 5 during the day. Our current usage is over 830 cubic meters per day, 830,000 cubic meters per day. The infrastructure that we have supports our current rate of water flowing in Nairobi is 525,000 cubic meters per day. So you'll find there's a shortage of almost deficit of 300,000 cubic meters that we lack. That's why you find rationing of different estates, and some estates even going missing.
Yeah, like residents of Langata, from some of the responses we've collected, are talking about water shortage perennial in Langata.
Yes, true. It's because Langata expanded at a very fast rate, and many other estates are now coming up, either in South Sea, Eastlands, and so forth. With the residents, especially the low housing schemes that are coming up, we are going to face quite a huge amount of challenge if this water infrastructure is not done. There must be new infrastructure in place.
Let's take a small breather, and then when we come back, we'll continue responding to some of the questions sent by our viewers, and of course some of the others we have. We'll talk about dumping, because I know you've closed about 110 illegal dumping sites, and we'll ask ourselves whether that has been able to address the problem of dumping and illegal dumping sites in the Nairobi City County. Don't go too far. We're taking a short breather. We're coming back in a few.
If you have been in contact with someone who is suspected or has tested positive for COVID-19, self-quarantine for 14 days and call 7194 for help. Self-quarantine restricts movement and the spread of the disease and protects your family, friends and community from being infected. During self-quarantine, you are advised to stay in a separate room, disinfect surfaces and clothing with appropriate disinfectant, avoid sharing household items, including utensils, towels and beddings, do not receive visitors, wear an appropriate face mask if you must be around other people. COVID-19 is preventable. Protect yourself, family and the community. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile. And having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is in one place. To the next holiday.
Triple refined, zero cholesterol and natural vitamin E. Fresh Fry, always heart friendly. Now it's even more cooking friendly. Fresh Fry, the premium cooking oil for healthy living.
Mimi yuko wapi?
Mimi? Si wewe hapo.
Mimi paka wangu.
Tell me what you want. There must be something you want.
Tena basi hiyo sauti ambayo ilikuwa inajibu nayo ilikuwa ni ya mama kabisa. Anaambie, mimi sijui sauti ya mamangu.
Mimi wakinipandisha nitawanyosha mpaka watia kiu.
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy and heritage. That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting and colorful bouquet.
Welcome back. You're still watching Prime Edition. We are talking to the Director General of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, General Mohammed Badi. Let me just pick some of your feedback. Why is he only cleaning and renovating the roads in uptown side and neglecting downtown areas, the sides of River Road? That's IBA who's asking that, Ibrahim. There's somebody else who says, does he know that Ruai town along Kangudo Road with a population of over 290,000 people falls within Nairobi? He's talking about the bad roads there. What will it take for NMS to fix the filth in downtown Nairobi when it rains? Let's begin there before we take their feedback. Fixing Nairobi when it comes to issues of dumping and drainage.
Yeah, we are doing not only CBD but even downtown. We have done Kirinyaga and we are now doing the inner lanes in Kirinyaga, including the drainages. So there are some roads that are actually contracted to be done, we outsource. And there are some that we are doing it within our own capacity. So it's not that we are neglecting any area. We are going to go full swing in doing even the downtown. Now, the question of the inner lanes within the city, especially downtown, in terms of garbage and dumping, I think that's the question somebody was asking. Initially, remember when we came in, we were doing the waste collection through our own resources and of course with the help of National Youth Services. But it was because during the county government time, some contractors laid down tools because of non-payment. But now we have an elaborate systems which cover all the 17 countries, constituencies,
okay.
in Nairobi. And we have outsourced private contractors which started the job a month ago. So it will take time to see the changes, but the changes are already being seen. The outsourced contractors have really gone a long way because we are supervising their work. They've gone a long way to clean areas that had been dumped before and we could not reach those areas. So now the outsourced 17 constituencies in Nairobi are fully covered by private contractors and they are doing their level best to ensure that the city is spotless clean.
Garbage collection.
Garbage collection. And the question from Roy, yes, we have ward development projects that are actually proposed by the existing 85 wards in Nairobi. We have different MCAs, and MCAs in every financial year actually propose which projects of priority according to the budget of Nairobi. So we have had a sitting with the 85 elected MCAs, listen to their proposed projects, and according to the budget we have prioritized which projects to be done, and why is included in the road. I know the roads are pathetic. I've toured that area and we are going to work on it. Remember, we are following the procurement process which was advertised in the papers. The winning bidders in the tenders of repairing the roads in all 85 wards have just been notified, and soon they'll start work in all of those roads.
All right. I'm still on this question about, addressing the issue of dumping and drainage in the city. I know you've been able to address the problem of, garbage and litter all over the city.
Yes. In our new contracts, every outsourced contractor must ensure that there is a proper drainage, and we are the ones that supervise all the contractors. So we are trying our level best. Remember, we found this city some roads that were built even 30 years ago without any drainage. So it's not easy to cover Nairobi County per se, but we are doing our level best, and the issue of drainage will be properly addressed, because we want to repair a road that lasts for as many years as possible, rather than having a road that breaks up after 1 or 2 years after heavy rains. So we are addressing the issue of drainages, whether it's the roads done within our own capacity or a road outsourced by a different contractor. The issue of drainages will be addressed. As I said, every road will have its own furniture, and that includes drainage, naming. A lot of roads in Nairobi are not even named. So we are going to ensure that even the inner lanes are named, and there's a proper addressing system to address those shortages. And not only that, we are going to ensure that there are at least benches for the disabled and elderly people. Once they walk on the street, there's a place to rest. There are trees that provide shade for somebody to sit under. So all these are things that did not exist in the past.
Somebody was asking, when you talk about trees, somebody was asking, why is the NMS felling trees and replacing them with brick and rock?
What they are probably talking about, because we don't fall down trees for no reasons, but what they are talking about, I know a lot of people are not used to the walkways and cycle paths that we are creating, and that is it's a culture that we must now adapt. We should not be left behind. The world is moving fast, and we should ensure that not only within CBD, but somebody from any estate in Nairobi can walk or cycle to CBD. And that's why we are ensuring that the side of the road, there is enough walkway and cycleway. So people are not used to it. Even the walkways and cycleways that we have created and built, you will find people selling their fruits on the cycle path. So it requires a civic education on this, and we are doing it with NGOs, private companies, to ensure that it's done.
All right. The Green Park terminus. Let's talk about decongesting. This is a question that appears everywhere. Decongesting, particularly the central business district, and I know the Green Park terminus, but they also think it addresses, or it is dealing with cars from Mombasa Road, Ngong Road, Langata Road. How about those, coming from Thika Road, Jogoo Road? What happens if you want to decongest the CBD? And what is that silver bullet that will ensure that the city is rid, of all these problems of congestion?
Yeah, the Green Park, the bus terminus, is actually a modern way of decongesting the city center with PSVs. And this is not only, the Green Park is a role model, test model for other parks that we are building. So it's not only going to be the Green Park, but it's going to be Green Park. We have already started building on Desai Road and Park Road for vehicles coming from Thika. We have one that we are starting just now. We are fencing off the area, Bunyala Road behind railway station. We have one in Landis, and we are going to have one just near Globe Roundabout up at Ngara. We have one in Westlands, just where the bridge is now being built of this new China Road that is being constructed. So we'll have around 6 bus terminals from different roads to address traffic flowing in from Nairobi from different directions. So the Green Park is our first one, but based on what we have experienced in building Green Park and Desai Road, we are now going to use that and fast track the other bus terminals.
All right.
So before December, we shall see at least 6 bus terminals.
Before we wind up, Kanjo, what people call enforcement officers within the city, are they under the NMS? Are they under the city council? Because somebody was sending in a complaint about how they continue harassing not just hawkers, even people in their business premises.
Yeah, true. The enforcement is actually in every department. Out of the 4 functions we have taken over, the auxiliary services, that means to enforce, ensure that compliance is met, falls under all the functions, including the ones in the county. Now, the biggest problem is Kanjos are like security forces, and they need one central command.
Yes.
Initially, we had a fight with the former governor on who is to control the enforcement. But now we have streamlined, working with the county, that there can only be one command.
All right.
So we have appointed a commander from the National Police Services to take over that role. Remember, the Kanjos, or what they call city askaris, were not from disciplined forces. But we are now trying to change their discipline by bringing in inspectors of police on secondment to the enforcement, so that they ensure that discipline is maintained. But remember, there are almost over 2,000 of them, and they are divided between NMS and the county government. So we are having challenges, it's true, but we have a retraining package for them to ensure that they are trained at the AP Administration Police Training College, to ensure that discipline is instilled in them.
All right.
But remember, some of them are 50 years old, so to teach an old dog how to bark is going to be difficult.
It's going to be a problem.
Yes.
The last picture I remember of you, of course, because I've interacted with your work since you were appointed, but I remember that time when you showed up somewhere in a construction, in army uniform, and people dispersed from all directions. You could call them 7 or 10. My question, because this segment is called Extra Mile, we try and go beyond the extra politics and the issues of work. Does General Mohammed Abdallah Badi have an easy side other than the army man that we see?
Yes, of course. The post I'm holding is not a military post.
Yes.
So it is, I have to adjust. To be flexible and adjust to the challenge that I'm having. But yes, when it comes to the hard point, I have to put on uniform, and on other days I'm relaxed in a suit like this. So yes, I have to adjust my personality to suit both.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We're talking to General Mohammed Abdallah Badi, the Director General of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. And clearly there's work to be done, but there's also much progress done under NMS. And that's where we wind up Extra Mile. Over to Serfine Achieng.
That was a great conversation there, John Jacob Kioria, with the Major. Now we want to take you back to that story that we ran by you earlier. Kenyan lawyers have been challenged to ensure selfless delivery of justice without exploiting the rising demand for legal representation. Chief Administrative Secretary in the State Law Office, Professor Japheth Ntiba, says legal practice should not be considered solely as a source of income, but a duty to the community. Ntiba is challenging upcoming lawyers to use their skills in defending the truth and service to humanity. Professor Japheth Ntiba was speaking during the graduation ceremony of 44 law graduates at the Kenya School of Law.
On a crucible of significant developments that have thrust the legal profession to the frontiers of our time. Into this world of constitutionalism, you carry a complex tool of skills, ideas, and knowledge. With these treasures at your hand, each of you has a duty to advance the searchlights of justice, to illuminate the truth, not for fame, not for wealth or stealth, but to better the human condition.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni, unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako, chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account, weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano, TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Sasa, hii ng'ombe ni yako.
Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Jen, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno nasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuwa namna gani mtu anachukua?
Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza
unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe, na kama haujui kusoma uijaze na mtu unayemwamini. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia masilahi yako, na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako.
Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process.
By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa una bima. Asante sana.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money. The one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Our legends, your legends. And now they're back on your screen.
There's nowhere like home after 31 years. What a feeling.
Karibu kwa taarifa zetu za leo. Mimi ni Badi Mohsin.
Bringing you news you can trust.
Kuungana nasi kwenye taarifa zetu za humu nchini, ugaibuni na hata kwenye safu za spoti.
Join us every Saturday on KBC Darubini and KBC Channel 1 News as we bring you comprehensive news coverage presented by the trailblazers of newscasting in Kenya.
Mwenda Tesi na Omo na Rejeni Ngamani.
The Legends News Edition on KBC Channel 1 every Saturday.
I'm walking on the streets of Konza Technopolis. Yes, you got it right. The African Silicon Savannah is slowly but surely taking shape. But the question is this: what do we need to do to accelerate the progress of Konza?
The project is taking shape. As you can see, the Konza complex is up and the roads are ongoing construction and the project is becoming a reality.
This week on Inside Government, we talked to Kotida Chief Executive Officer, Engineer John Tanui, on the progress of Konza and the future of the African Silicon Savannah, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. We now focus on what's trending in the world of business, and news just coming in is that President Uhuru Kenyatta has just assented the Finance Bill 2021 and also the County Allocation Revenue Act and the Appropriation Bill 2021. Now, the Finance Bill 2021 introduces amendments to various tax-related acts of Parliament as well as other related statutes in the public finance sector. We'll be giving you details of that and more in our subsequent bulletins. But now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of business. And have you filed your tax obligations? If yes, you are part of the 5.2 million Kenyans who have already filed their returns. Now, if your answer is no, then you are at risk of a penalty of 20,000 shillings if you fail to file your returns by midnight. Now, let's continue with, on top of the fine, you also risk being blocked from applying for jobs and opening bank accounts by Kenya Revenue Authority.
The Kenya Revenue Authority had given taxpayers until today, which is the last day of the financial year 2020-2021, to file their annual tax returns. With the imminent deadline, only 5.2 million Kenyans have successfully filed their income tax returns out of the 6.5 million target. KRA tax manager Wanja Wangondo says about 1.3 million Kenyans are yet to file their tax returns. Wangondo says the number is, however, an increase compared to 3.1 million who had filed their returns by the same period last year.
It is a 25% increase for the similar period last year. So that clearly indicates that Kenyans are coming out in big numbers. And I know by today, tomorrow, we will see a great increase on the same.
Long queues witnessed at various KRA centers across the country as Kenyans rush to beat the midnight deadline. Individuals who fail to file income tax returns by midnight will face penalties of up to 20,000 shillings and risk being blocked from applying jobs or opening bank accounts.
And some jobs these days when we are applying for some tenders, tax compliance certificate is a requirement. So if you have not filed, then you're not tax compliant. And so you'll not be able to get it until you file and pay the penalties that you're required to.
The taxman says they have enhanced the iTax system to handle the high traffic traditionally witnessed during last-minute rush. KRA has ruled out extending the tax filing deadline, saying Kenyans had been given ample time to comply. Individuals with employment income require P9 forms issued by their employers to file their tax returns.
Moving on, the government has partnered with the banking industry in implementing a 3 billion credit guarantee scheme targeting the micro, small and medium enterprises. Treasury Chief Administrative Secretary Eric Simiyu said the fund will boost facilitation of the much needed access to affordable credit for small businesses. More details in our business brief.
So far, the government has injected a total of 53.7 billion shillings to various sectors, including manufacturing, tourism, construction and agriculture, initiated through the 8-point stimulus package.
This Biashara Sacco that is coming up, we have keen interest because we really believe that the banking sector, and last week I had the chance of speaking at the Kenya Bankers Association, we do believe that we need to create space for them to play their role in the way they know how.
Speaking during the unveiling of the partnership between the MSME Alliance of Kenya and Equity Bank to develop sustainable financial products for MSMEs, Treasury Chief Administrative Secretary Eric Simiyu says the fund will help ensure business resilience and growth despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation (KDIC), in partnership with the private sector stakeholders, has today rolled out implementation of a risk-based premium assessment model in an effort to provide incentives for banks to avoid excessive risk-taking. Under the new arrangement, banks are required to pay premiums based on their individual risk profiles, thereby capturing elements such as their liquidity positions, capital adequacy, asset quality and governance structures. This means that those deemed risky would pay higher premiums to the fund compared with their relatively stable counterparts. Finally, the Energy Regulatory Authority has confirmed Daniel Kiptoo as the Director General of the regulator for a term of 3 years, renewable, with effect from 1st July 2021. Kiptoo has been holding the position in an acting capacity since December 14, 2020. Prior to his appointment, Kiptoo was the legal advisor to the Ministry of Energy and chairman of the government's First Oil Committee. Kiptoo succeeded Pavel Oimeke, who was arrested by anti-corruption sleuths on bribery allegations. Oimeke was elected last month as the Member of Parliament for Bonchari constituency.
That roundup brings to a close business news for tonight. Richard Mungai is on the other end with the sports.
very much, Carol Jenga, for that. Once again, good evening. I'm Richard Munga with the day's sports. Now, reigning Africa Championship high jump champion Matthew Sawe has attained the Tokyo Olympic Games qualifying mark. Also, the National Olympic Committee has announced and awarded prizes to the winners of the Olympic Day essay and art competitions that closed on the 25th of June 2021.
Sawe attained the Olympic qualification mark through the World Athletic Ranking System. By the close of the qualifying window last night, Sawe was ranked 24th, which secured him a slot to the Tokyo Olympic Games. Sawe made his international debut in 2012 in Porto Novo. Sawe banked gold at the 2016 African Championship in Durban, South Africa, making him the first Kenyan to win that title. Elsewhere, NOC Kenya has today announced awarded prizes to the winners of the Olympic Day essay and art competitors that closed on 25th June 2021. The theme of the competition revolved around the upcoming Tokyo 2020 Olympic, with the aim of promoting education on the Olympics to young Kenyans. The competition that were open for all Kenyans had a huge participatory engagement. Participants ranking from primary kids to university undergraduate students entered the annual Olympic Day competition as NOC partnered with lecturers from Kenyatta University, art colleges and school teachers to do the judging. And finally, close to 500 athletes have been invited to participate in a 3-day national under-20 trials to select Team Kenya, slated to kick off this Friday to Sunday at Kasarani Stadium. The athletes reported to the residents today and will be subjected to a daily COVID-19 test. According to the World Under-20 LOC CEO Mike Rabal, Kenya is ready to host the event with over 128 countries having already confirmed their participation for the August 17th to 22nd global event at Kasarani Stadium. The first 2 athletes across the line during the trials will be selected in Team Kenya with strict adherence to mandatory age.
So we want to make sure that the accreditation is done well in advance and works, and people begin to understand what it means to have certain allocation to certain zones. So we want to make sure we implement that very, very strongly. So accreditation for us is going to be very, very instrumental. Secondly, in terms of our transport, our event is seen that we are having athletes staying in various hotels across the city. Transport and coordination will be a very key facet of this event, and making sure that athletes leave the hotels on time, get to Kasarani where they're coming for the event, or get to Nyayo Stadium if they're going for training. That facet for us is is probably the most crucial part of hosting an event of this magnitude.
Now on to other matters. The national boxing team head coach Musa Benjamin is confident the team will post good results at the Tokyo Olympic Games. The Kenyan quartet of Nick Okoth, Elia Joey, Christine Ongare and Elizabeth Akinyi are currently camping at the Kasarani Stadium ahead of their departure to Tokyo.
After bagging 13 medals, 1 gold, 5 silver and 7 bronze at the Africa Zone 3 Boxing Championship in the Democratic Republic of Congo in March, and also registering good results in Russia, the national boxing team head coach Musa Benjamin is upbeat ahead of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Musa says the team is in tip-top shape and there are no any injury concerns. The Kenyan quartet, Nick Okoth, Eli Ajowi, Elizabeth Akinyi and Christine Ongare, changed their training base to Kasarani and are now finalizing as they wait their departure date.
Tulikuwa na speed test, so nangoja matokeo kutoka kwa strength and conditioning coach Bwana Kim, na kisha tuweze kuendelea na program yetu ya mazoezi. So mpaka sasa nasema tunaendelea vizuri, preparations zinaenda vizuri. Tumekuwa na changamoto kidogo kutokana na ile janga la COVID, mambo ya kwenda kufanya aerobic runs, hill sprints, ilikuwa matatizo kidogo, lakini tunajimudu na yale ambao tunaweza kupata.
Na mpaka kuwa friendly na coach, unaona kila saa yote ya mazoezi tutaka kutangulia kuwa mbele pale, unaona wacha ukuwe kierere kwa mazoezi, ndio mission hiyo manatumwa itakuwa successful.
The Olympic Games are set to kick off on 23rd of July to 8th August this year.
sports night, but just a few updates, quick ones on Sunday.
Zoya took the lead through
Cup final, Gor Mahia versus AFC Leopards, the Marshamage Derby. Will be played at Utali Grounds at 3 p.m. And Euro 2020 quarterfinals resume tomorrow. Belgium and Italy, one of the biggest matches to look forward to. Oh, that's it from me. Do have a good night. Don't go too far. Serfine, Achieng and John Jacob Kioria coming up.
All right. We are just here to wrap it up. Thank you so much for creating time to catch the latest in Kenya and beyond borders today. Thank you so much, Eddie's T. O'Clock, for your compliment. And of course, a lot coming in concerning that great interview you had with the Major. Kaka Mawili, you say, Mr. Buddy, water shortage in Langata is because of cartels who want to rob people of their extra coin. And a lot we can go on and on, but we will, be forwarding some of the questions you've asked to him so that he can be able to address them. Thank you for your time. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. Have yourself a good night. God bless you. See you on Sunday when you do this next. Tomorrow is the business team because it's business, right?
Yeah, sure. Have a good night.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial star 811 star 963 hash.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial star 811 star 963 hash, star 811 star 963 hash.
Mimi yuko wapi?
Mimi? Si wewe hapo?
Mimi paka wangu.
Tell me what you want. There must be something you want.
Tena basi hiyo sauti ambayo ilikuwa inajibu nayo ilikuwa ni ya mama kabisa. Anaambie, mimi sijui sauti ya mamangu.
Mimi wakinipandisha nitawanyosha mpaka watia kiu.